Strictly for the culture. Brothers and sisters, you have seen the t-shirts, the hats, the hoodies, the mugs in the hands of some of your favorite pro wrestling stars, podcasters, and influencers out there. And now it's time. Visit strictlyfortheculture.ca and you too can be part of the movement. Bigger than sweatshirts and commercial success, Strictly for the Culture aims to build with like-minded people and elevate their position in the world through knowledge, self-love, and a desire to unite. So what are you waiting on? Visit strictlyfortheculture.ca. Do it for the love. Do it for the knowledge. Most importantly, folks, do it strictly for the culture.
You're locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke loves wrestling.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Brothers and sisters, welcome back to another fantastic episode of Devon and the Duke, the limited podcast series starring myself, Duke Loves Wrestling, and of course, the Hall of Famer, one of the most decorated wrestlers in history, the man known as Devon Dudley. How you doing there, Brother Devon?
I'm doing good. Starting off with a good morning and chaotic as usual with all the kids. I think you heard it right before we went on the air, so it's a little hectic.
It's a little hectic, but you know, you keep holding out on me, man. I know the most famous person in the family there, your wife. I heard her in the background at one point. You know, you keep holding out. Are you afraid she's going to take this show over?
Look, you ever see that movie with Samuel L. Jackson when he had the lady chained to the radiator in the house and wouldn't out? That's me.
Black Snake Bone. You talk about Black Snake Bone, man.
I keep a chain so that way she don't get out, she don't make any appearances and nothing.
Man, I'm telling you. Listen, you're going to have people over here thinking you serious too, Devon. See, you got to watch out, man. I'm telling you.
Listen,
this
they
guy.
already thought serious when I had my podcast, my talk podcast, and I basically, because I was upset with the dirt sheets and things like that, and it was called Table Talk, and I made a reference in how the dirt sheets will take the littlest thing you say and twist it around. And it had to do with my health scare with the stroke and everything, because they really made it out to be like I was dying, like I was dead. And I got pissed off about it, you know, because I'm so used to, you know, being strong and, you know, Devon Dudley, the Dudley boys, you know, not taking no crap. So I felt very vulnerable when things were said about my health that just wasn't true. And, you know, it felt like people were taking cheap shots. So I replied and I said, you know, if I told them that I was gay or I was going to be on the RuPaul drag queen show, that they would take that and run with it. I said, regardless if even if it's not true, they would just run with it. And I said, you know what? As a matter of fact, yes, I am gay. And I am going to be on the RuPaul drag show in a couple of weeks. Now, of course, that didn't happen because I was never on the show. Number two, I'm not gay. And everybody knows that, but these people took it and ran with it.
Jesus.
And so on my Wiki page or what have you, somebody wrote, yeah, and it also came out that Devon came out of the closet that he's gay. I'm like, ain't this some shit? No, I'm not gay. God damn it, stop. Listen, my brother's gay. I love him to death, and you know, I have nothing but respect and love for him. Just because he decides to lay down with the same sex does not make him any less of a man. He's still my brother and I still love him. And there's nothing wrong with being gay. Just who you decide to lay with, that's your business. It's nobody else's business. So as far as I'm concerned, more power to the gay community and what they do. You know, they have a right to come out and to express themselves and do what they want without being ridiculed or what have you. Again, Who you decide to lay with in your bed, that's your business. It's no one else's.
Damn right. Damn right. I agree. You know, the whole concept of discrimination just sits right with me. For above all, eventually it's going to come to you. They'll just keep checking off the boxes until it gets to you. So if you're not motivated by any other reason to stand up for somebody else, just remember, if you don't, eventually you're going to be the only one standing around, and then when folks start jumping on you, you got nobody to have your back. So, you know,
So
as you say, treat people the way you want to be treated, right?
Exactly. So I figured I'd start a new one. I just recently took a DNA test and found that I was Bigfoot. So let's see if they run with that one. All right,
the conspiracy theorist.
Yes, the real Bigfoot. So I'm putting it out there. So let's see how you feel about that one. Let's see if you start running with that.
Discovery Channel. We found them. Don't worry, we found them, folks. I'm telling you,
right here on the podcast.
Listen, man, we're gonna get canceled so hard. This is gonna be like our last episode. So here we go. Dirt Sheet's gonna have a field day with us now. Anyway, we got 4th of July coming up, brother. Independence Day, and I was thinking about this. If you were to name two or three things that really make you proud to be an American, what would those concepts be? I mean, we can always find fault, of course, and we should. We have the freedom to do that. You know, it's easy to do that. But when it comes to, man, I'm proud to be an American for these few reasons here. What would you say are your top 2 or 3?
My top 2 or 3. Number 1 of being American is being free. Being able to do what we want, when we want, and how we want. To live our lives the way we see fit to live our lives. That's one of the things I love. I love the fact that in some cases, not all, there's something called due process. When you are on trial for something and, you didn't do it, you got a chance to prove yourself. Where in certain countries, if they say you did it, they either killing you, shooting you, or hanging you. So, we don't do that here in America, thank God. I mean, some places they do, but, and I say that respectfully because, you got things that are hidden and undercover in certain instances. And not to mention, again, I think the overall big thing is freedom is with my family. My kids being able to grow up and to, be able to enjoy the finer things in life if provided to them. That's one of the greatest things I love about being here in America. There's a lot of countries where a lot of families can't do that because of the rules and regulations of that country. But here in the U.S., with so many of our brave men and women fighting to keep that alive, I love that, that we're able to do that. Even with this election that's coming up with Biden and Trump, we're able to have freedom of speech. And that's one of the other things too, freedom of speech, where we could say what we want to say in terms of who we like and who we dislike. If we want this person for president, if we don't want that person for president, or in a lot of cases with this presidency, a lot of people don't care for either candidate. So this is totally different, I feel, than it was back when Trump and Biden went after the presidency, when all that big controversy happened, when Trump said that, the election was fixed and all that. Totally different outcome. You had a lot of people that were pro-Trump, and then you had people that were pro-Biden, because they didn't want Trump inside the White House. But now you got people that don't want either one in the White House because they don't like Trump, whether because he lied or the indictments and things like that, or Joe Biden being that, that debate was horrible for him. And, it was just horrifying to see that the man who's leading the country may not be all there, in certain circumstances. So that is one of the things I love about being American, where you can express yourself that way, to say what you like and what you don't like, and be able to say anything at any given time without being murdered.
Well said, because certainly we see it all the time. It's tough to see somebody could be thrown in jail and literally murdered for having the audacity to say that they disagree with something that their government is doing. It's crazy. I'll tell you right now, Devon, one of the joys in life that I have is living in Boston, where, you know, a lot of this stuff started, where we had the Boston Tea Party, where, you know, that all that history happened here and around here. And every single day I can walk by our State House, I can walk by Boston City Hall, and I can see somebody protesting something. And that sounds crazy to think about it. It's like, what? What do you mean? No, literally, there's somebody, whether it's 2 people, whether it's 2,000 or 20,000 people, there's somebody protesting something in front of our government buildings just about every day. And thank God for that, because what that says is exactly what you just said, that freedom of speech, freedom of expression, the ability to call attention to something that you feel is wrong and to stand up firm for it. Thank God we have those rights here in the United States. And I wish all over this entire planet, everyone else had those same kind of rights. But certainly I'm thankful and appreciative of that as we roll into this Independence Day 2024.
We should always pay respect to those men and women that fought hard for the country and that are still fighting hard over there and doing what they got to do so we can celebrate days like this. You know, a lot of people are proud to be Americans and to be able to, you know, call this the home of the free, you know, the land of the free, the home of the brave, and to be able to live that way, you know. So continue to, you know, you see somebody from the armed services, you know, don't be afraid to salute them or tell them thank you, you know, because the reason why we're able to celebrate what we're celebrating now is because of men and women like that. And again, the 4th of July is just that type of place. Listen, we're all going to enjoy fireworks, hot dogs and hamburgers and things like that with our family and loved ones. And, you know, let's just be grateful that we are able to do that, because in a lot of countries, they can't. But we're able to do that here.
Are you the grill guy, or are you waiting for the food to come out?
No, I'm actually the grill guy. I actually love to grill. I really enjoy it. I feel, which I'm sure this is not the case, but I also feel that, hey, nobody can grill better than me. You know, but again, that's my own ego coming in to the picture. But, you know, it's just one of those things where I enjoy it, and I'm going to be doing it this year.
Party at Devon's, if you can find him. Party at Devon's. He's on the grill. So, you know, I'm sure we're going to have the big ribs and the chicken and the hot dogs, hamburgers, right? Am I missing anything?
Oh, no. Maybe macaroni and cheese. You know, I'm black, so we always got to have macaroni and cheese at some type of function. You know, potato salad, things like that. You know, the good stuff.
The good stuff. The good stuff. I love it. And baked macaroni and cheese, folks. None of that.
No, none of that Kraft
macaroni and cheese nonsense out there.
No, not at all. And you know, black family, you know, a lot of black, they will tell you that one of the biggest things at functions is macaroni and cheese. Everybody's trying to outdo each other of who's got the best macaroni and cheese in the family. And that's one of the things I love about the family, is that we do that a lot. My wife, you know, loves to cook, but thinks that her macaroni and cheese is the bomb, and it is. And I ain't going to say otherwise either. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, there it is. Now, wait, is she from the South?
No, well, no, she's from Ohio, but she's from Akron, Ohio. She came to when she was, I believe, 3 years old. So she's been here ever since. So she's kind of a Floridian, you know, but yet she is an Ohio person.
Got it. Listen, I found out something horrific, and I know I'm taking this off course for a second here, but did you know in Ohio they put spaghetti on top of their hot dogs?
Yeah, I did see that. It was on a menu. My wife and I went back to Akron, Ohio, which I love. I love Akron, Ohio. So big ups to Akron, Ohio. I saw a menu where they had something like that on there. And at first I thought it was weird as hell.
Yeah, spaghetti on the hot dogs, chili on the spaghetti, all kind of nonsense, man.
I can see chili on the spaghetti. It's like meat sauce to me.
But it don't taste the same, Devon. I mean, come on, man. We're gonna turn off all of our Italian listeners now with that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Yes, and I agree with you on that. But it's I don't know, man. It's still good to me, man.
Okay,
listen,
all right.
Hold on. You cannot give that to a real Italian. They'll eat you up, boy. They don't play that nonsense.
That's what I was going to say. No.
Listen, it's good.
Please do not put chili on my spaghetti. I do not want any of that. I don't know what these folks in Ohio are thinking. I might have to start a petition on that because I don't know. That's some scary stuff there, man. You know, speaking of scary stuff, a guy who literally has just finished up in the WWE, Dijack. You know, he's a local guy, Massachusetts guy. I've known his career from the beginning, so definitely have followed him along the way and what have you. But his contract with the WWE expired, and he stated that he tried to negotiate, but they just weren't interested. And he's pretty upset about that. So I want to get your take on this, Devon, because when it comes to situations like that, where the company is just moving in a different direction, does it make sense, in your opinion, and this is advice for other wrestlers who are still active and still out there, does it make sense for them to immediately start burying the company and telling secrets and carrying on as soon as their contract is up?
Well, you know, I got to say this. We all get upset when the Grim Reaper comes and gives us that phone call and says we're done with the company. You know, I've had it done twice or 3 times actually. And, you know, it's never fun. You want to go out there and express yourself, but you really shouldn't. You know, it's like airing your dirty laundry out there for no reason. There was a meme I put up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter one time with Bill Cosby making that Bill Cosby face. And the caption said, "You got to be some type of stupid to put your business out there in the street on social media and wonder why people look at you stupid." And by all means, I'm not calling that man stupid, but you know, you just got to be able to relax and hold your tongue and realize that everything's a business. Listen, you're not promised to be in this company for the rest of your life. Yes, it might be good. And yes, you're enjoying it. The money's great and all of that. But, you know, like a smart guy once told me, everything has an expiration date, whether it be your job, whether it be your relationship, whether it be your life. Nothing is forever until you get up to the kingdom of heaven. But, you know, to me, you know, I wanted to go and express my feelings when I left the WWE because I felt I was done wrong, but I didn't. You know, I didn't express it. I didn't say anything about it because the company's moving in a different direction and you just happen to get caught up in the wave that got you dismissed. So, and you never know when you're going to be brought back. I mean, again, it's happened to me 3 times. So what? I was brought back twice. And, you know, and every time there was a different regime or there was a different reason why they brought me back. You know, who knows? He might be back within a year or 2, or maybe even 3. You never know. There might be something that might come up where they go, hey, remember him? And, you know, let's see if we can bring him back and try him with this. Everything happens for a reason. Listen, just because you get let go doesn't mean you won't be back. Who's to say God didn't close that door so you could basically have something big on the horizon? You know, because sometimes God will close doors whether you like it or not because he knows you won't do it on your own. So he has to push you. You know, I think Dijack needs to look at it from that perspective. I don't know if he's a biblical person or not, but I look at it from when the door closes, another one will open. You just got to be patient and realize that and know it's on God's time, not yours. Again, whether you're a biblical person or not, or even an atheist, just relax. Don't stop putting your business out there. You don't have to put all of that nonsense out there, because that's what these dirt sheet riders and all these clowns that live in their parents' basement waiting for their mom and dad to bring the freaking apple pie down to them so they can continue to eat, get fat, eat Oreo cookies, and sit on the freaking computer telling us what we're doing wrong and how we should do it right. You know? And I look at them like, look, dude, you're still living in your parents' basement. I think I'm doing everything right. You're the one doing things wrong. You know, don't give these yayos, you know, the rope, you know, to hang you, because that's exactly what they're doing. So, yes, I understand you want to express your feelings about the company, but at the same token, you got to know business is business. That's just the way it is. And we got to move on, because who's to say we won't be back? It hurts. It does hurt. You know, it hurts bad, especially when you weren't looking to go, especially when you felt like you gave your all, and yet everything was just still taken away from you, and it was never done right. So I wish that brother nothing but the best, and I pray to God that he will, you know, subdue some of that anger and move on from it, because you never know. He might be back.
Well, that's the thing. And he has put on some pretty good matches. I mean, some solid matches, especially down in NXT. So it's peculiar for him, in my opinion. The first thing that he does, he didn't even give it a week. First thing he does is start airing out dirty laundry, as you would say. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I don't care what company you work for. I don't care what industry you work for. It's just not a good idea unless there's some kind of legal component and you've been discriminated against or mistreated and you're going that route. Then that information is going to come out naturally as you go through the court system. But outside of that, come on, guys, just focus on business. Speaking of business, something terrifying happened to somebody who I know that you know very well and very close with, Paul Heyman. He was brutalized. He was embarrassed. He was taken advantage of. Some would say he was broken in Madison Square Garden, of all places, a place that he got his start in the wrestling business. Paul Heyman they beat the hell out of him. This new incarnation of the bloodline, including a couple of folks who you personally have trained, Devon. So I got to ask you this question straight up, man. Are you personally concerned if they could put Paul Heyman through a table and beat the hell out of him, what have you? It doesn't seem like there's anyone that these guys won't put hands on. Is there any concern on your part there?
Listen, we taught Haku's boys, you know, Bubba and myself, to feed them pate, but of course they go by other names in WWE. But you know, hey, this will be a Bruno Sammartino, Larry Zbyszko type of thing. They come after the Dudley boys. It'll be the teacher versus the student, and we'll have to teach the student something awful. So, and I don't think those boys want any piece of the Dudley boys. You know, if Devon got to put the boots back on, I will now. Even if it means to come back and help Paul, I'll do it. You know, but you know, it's funny that, you know, this is all taking place now and how everything has turned around, where now Paul Heyman is the baby face. And the promo he cut, you know, by not acknowledging Solo Sikoa as the tribal chief was excellent. And I think it could not have been done better by anybody else but Paul Heyman, the way he delivered that. And you heard that place erupt. You know, and rightfully so, because he put so much passion into that. And he had you really believing, Paul Heyman did, that he was going to acknowledge Solo Sikoa as the tribal chief. But the way he did it was so damn good that it just really, really resonated. It really was a good job. So my hat goes off to Paul Heyman, but at the same token, him getting beat up and put through a table like that, that's rough.
That was something that I did not ever expect to see. Of course, you know, you have Solo, who really has come into his own at this point. I mean, you know, on the job training, certainly, it sure helps that he's been out there with the absolute best in the industry that we've seen in years, including Roman. When we're talking about Roman Reigns and of course Paul Heyman and what have you, the Usos. So Solo has had an opportunity to get the best training you could possibly get, and now you're starting to see it pay off. What he's doing with not only Tamatonga, Leoa, but now you have Jacob Fatu, who just joined the company. Brother, this is full steam ahead now. Everybody's all excited. They're doing big numbers on YouTube with the replay and things like that. And like you said, suddenly Paul Heyman is now the babyface, and even bigger, Roman Reigns. The crowd is chanting, "We want Roman."
Who would ever thought we would saw that?
Right? It's just crazy. It is absolutely crazy, and really a great job all around for everyone responsible for this storyline, continuing to build. And just when you think it's over, just when you think, okay, it's slowing down, it's stale, they just come out with new people and new twists and turns. We still haven't seen the Usos reform. Will they? Will they reform and come back with the original bloodline to take on these young guns now? And where does The Rock stand on this, right?
Well, let me ask you a question. Help me out here. In terms of the Usos, now, is Jimmy hurt? I don't know what's going on because I have not seen Jimmy and I've been out of the loop for a while, but is Jimmy hurt?
Well, they kicked him out of the bloodline. So they, quote unquote, he is hurt because they beat him up and threw him out.
Okay.
So
it's that.
Yeah. Solo assumed control by, sicking your guys on Jimmy. So we have not seen Jimmy Uso since that moment, and that was a couple months ago.
Here's the great thing I love about what WWE is doing right now. The storylines are really, really good, and there's two storylines that I'm really looking forward to, and that is the bloodline with Roman coming back, especially what happened to Paul Heyman. And, my condolences, my deepest condolences go out to Roman Reigns and his family in the loss of his legendary father, Sika from the Wild Samoans, a tag team that me and Bubba loved, honored, and really appreciated every time we saw them. They were there to give us our tag team of the year, and I believe it was 1997 at the Cauliflower Alley Club, and so many numerous awards that we won where they had the Wild Samoans come in and present it to us. So, again, my condolences to the family of Roman Reigns, and, may Sika rest in peace. It's just one of those things where, I think the people are going to be off the charts when the time comes for Roman to come back. And now you see what's going to happen between Roman and Solo Sikoa. And like you said, where does The Rock stand on this? Does The Rock join forces with Roman Reigns, or does he join with Sikoa? That's going to be very interesting to see how the WWE plays this out. And I'm going to say this: Paul Levesque, Triple H, and Paul Heyman putting their creative juices together, I think you will get a great story, and I think people will be invested into it, and they will really, really enjoy what's going on in terms of that story. That's one. The second thing is the Liv Morgan and
Rhea Ripley, Dom Mysterio.
Oh my God, listen, when Rhea Ripley comes back, it's going to be something. That place is going to explode. And what they did last night when Liv came out there and pretty much when Dominic fell on top of her and it looked like they were pretty much having sex on the floor, that was great. And the way they presented that, it was just really, really good. My thing is, here comes Liv. My prediction's like, here comes Liv. Liv comes down there and she's trying to keep seducing Dominic, trying to keep seducing him. And, Dominic's telling her to get out of there or what have you. And then all of a sudden, maybe Zelina Vega comes down, they get into the fight again, but Liv goes over on Zelina, beats her up around, at ringside and throws him to the steps or the wall. She's down. And all of a sudden, Liv thinks she's cocky. She's got it now. She starts backing up a little bit with her hands going, yeah, yeah, yeah. All of a sudden, the light shines to the entrance, and with no music, but out walks Rhea Ripley, just slow, and looking at Liv, and Liv has no idea what's going to happen. And when she finally gets to reach Liv, turns her around, the horror on Liv's face. And if she sells it correctly, oh my God, that place is going to explode. They're going to want to see Rhea Ripley kill Liv. So that's something I'm definitely looking forward to with the return of Roman Reigns with the Bloodline and Rhea Ripley with this whole thing with Dominic Judgment Day and Liv Morgan.
It's amazing. And if you notice in both storylines, look at how many different people get to benefit from the storyline, right? They have found a way to get so many other different people involved where everyone's a star, everyone's making money, everyone's building up, and it's just it makes the whole company healthier because of it, right?
But you see, Duke, this is the power of the WWE. This is what they do. Listen, they did it with Vince. That's another thing. They did it with Vince. And I'm sure Triple H will tell you that he's learned a lot from Vince. You can't just bury the man because of what's going on. The man contributed so much to this company. When I say the man, of course, I'm talking about Vince McMahon, has contributed so much to this business that you can't deny, his influence on wrestling. And I'm sure Hunter will sit there and say that he learned a lot from Vince. But the storytelling is what they're good at. This is what they do. They really tap in to the audience heartstrings and heart. And they get you so invested into it that you forget that it's actually a storyline. In your mind, it's real life. And this is what they do best. Now, with having Paul Heyman and Triple H both having, the say so and pulling the rope on everything now. Oh God, I can only imagine what these storylines are going to be like. Again, I worked with Heyman, for 5.5 years, almost 6 years in ECW, and saw what he could do there. Now that the handcuffs are loose and they're going on the USA Network. I'm sorry, they're going on Netflix, leaving the USA Network. There's no telling what we're going to see. When it might even top the Attitude Era. I hate to say that, but it might happen because you got Hunter, who was part of the Attitude Era and had some tremendous matches and storylines during that time. And you had Paul Heyman, who I like to call Dr. Frankenstein, who actually helped create the Attitude Era with what we were doing in ECW. So to have those two minds together, and now you're going to leave the USA Network and go on Netflix. Oh my God, there's no censor, there's no nothing. You can do whatever you want. I can only imagine. Listen, Paul Heyman is probably salivating at the mouth right now because he can bring back all those storylines that he wanted to do back when he had the book for SmackDown in 2002. And then even when he was, with Vince, he's kind of his right-hand man in terms of putting, the wrestling together where, Vince would say yes to some things and say no to a lot of things. And, it would frustrate people and this and that. Now there is no frustration. Now they can just go out and just do it.
Damn, you got me all excited now, brother.
I'm telling you.
You're absolutely right.
Because I lived both of them. I lived through Vince. I lived through Heyman. I didn't live through Triple H because he was talented, just like I was at the time. But I can only imagine. Look at the performance that Hunter put on while he was talented during the Attitude Era and the things that he did. The whole Helmsley McMahon thing that went on back then. God, it was tremendous. It's what helped make the Attitude Era. DX. I mean, people going around, suck it. All these kids getting in trouble in school for telling their teachers to suck it, and things like that. This is going to be great. Netflix is probably one of the best things that's ever going to happen. And this will probably be as close as you're going to get to the Attitude Era or surpass the Attitude Era.
Well said. Well said. So folks, definitely when this changeover happens, just keep in mind, SmackDown is going to USA Network. and there's already talk that SmackDown will increase to 3 hours, because it's going to be on USA, but Raw will be on Netflix and broadcasted all over the world because it's on Netflix. That is just going to be tremendous. There's literally no restrictions on what they can do, so it's definitely going to be edgier, definitely going to be more adult, and like Devon just said, there's no telling all storylines that Paul Heyman may have been sitting on for years. No telling what we're going to see. So that's pretty awesome there. You brought it up, so let's get into it, because we did promise our loyal listeners here that Devon would start telling some stories from his illustrious career. And, there was no telling what people were going to request. And certainly, folks, DukeLovesWrestling@gmail.com, Duke Loves Wrestling on all your social media. Keep those requests coming. What do you want to hear Devon talk about? Because he's been through so much in ECW, WWE, TNA, Japan. Like, Devon is legitimately one of the most decorated wrestlers in pro wrestling history. No two ways about it. But I was very surprised that the one subject that kept coming up the most was something that happened nearly 30 years ago, Devon, in ECW. It is the night when Raven and his stable at the time, which we'll call Raven's Nest, they used barbed wire and tied up the Sandman and depicted him in a manner which, folks have felt was a crucifixion, so to speak. I think they even put a barbed wire headdress on him at the end of it there as well. So this is pretty controversial. This is pretty extreme. It pissed a lot of people off at the time. They wanted ECW off of TV and shut down. I think Kurt Angle was there that day, and he said that he never wanted to be associated with ECW ever again. Were you there, Devon?
Yes, I was there, and that was probably like my 5th or 6th ECW arena show. So I was probably there maybe about 2 months, if that. I remember it very well. I remember hearing Stevie Richards talk about it when he came back from the ring to the back. Me being the kid of a pastor, a bishop, my father, and my mother was a reverend, or still is a reverend, I shouldn't say was. To me, it was very powerful. I remember, because there used to be a drape that separated what we used to call, was it the Eagle's Nest, where the hard camera was. There used to be a drape, and a lot of the wrestlers from ECW would dress upstairs in that little area. And there was like a couple of holes in the drape, so you were able to see. And I remember seeing this, and I remember the Sandman was fighting Raven, and Stevie, Nova, and Meanie came out to jump him from behind, and they did. Raven comes out, and they pull out the cross. Now, the cross was not pulled out so everybody could see it at this point. They started tying him to the cross, like Christ-like. And I remember Stevie Richards kept saying, "This is wrong. This is wrong. Why are we doing this? This is wrong." And I think, allegedly, Raven might have told him, "Shut up. Just do it. Do it." And he just kept saying, he said, "This is wrong. This is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be doing this." I remember when they got done tying him up, they pulled that crucifix up with Sandman hanging like Christ. I had never heard, when you hear, "Oh," it was so uneasy from the people when they saw that. I can't even describe how uneasy it made these people feel. And when they took that barbed wire and put that on top of his head and made it look like it was the thorns that they did for Jesus, oh my God, the place kind of, I cannot describe the feeling that came out of the people's mouths. Complete and utterly shock. I think that was the first time the ECW arena was at a loss for words. It truly was. I remember when I saw it, my whole body heated up, not out of anger, but somewhat of fear, because to me, it was a mockery of God. And I had always heard that Sandman was an atheist, so he didn't believe in that. And again, allegedly, I don't know for sure, but that's what I always heard. And people will say, oh, well, Raven's Jewish, so he doesn't believe in Jesus, because the Jews only believe in the Old Testament. They don't believe in the New Testament. They're still waiting for the Messiah to come. But for those who believe in the New Testament and are Christians, they believe that Jesus did come and they're waiting for him to come again. So it was one of those things where they felt Raven didn't really care whether, how people felt or not. And I remember like I said, my whole body heated up when I saw that, and I literally got scared. I literally packed my gear, because I had wrestled earlier, quickly, and was ready to have my bags at the door, because I was scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. And, I just remember Paulie, everybody in the back was kind of like, this is wrong, this is wrong. I believe Taz blew a gasket, if I can remember. Again, that's something for you fans to ask Taz. If you ever have a chance to question him on an interview or what have you. But I believe he blew a gasket. Kurt Angle, who was there, was as a guest. I remember him getting up and saying, "Don't you put me on this TV. I am done. And if this airs with my face on it, I will sue this whole fucking company." And he walked out in complete disgust. So we might have had Kurt Angle first if it wasn't for that night.
That is just fascinating to hear. Did you get an apology at all? Was there any kind of powwow or meeting with the team, the ECW, wrestlers and the staff? No.
Paul Heyman made Raven go out there and apologize to the people. And some people felt like it was a blah type of apology, that he really didn't mean it. He was only saying it and doing it because Paul made him do it. But again, that's what people allege. If you heard him when he did apologize, it really didn't seem like he had any remorse in his heart about doing it, that he just did it because he was told to go out there and apologize, but not really meaning, what he said. So it was oof. It was really a time and a half, boy, back then.
Reflecting back on that specific moment, were there any other moments, and we don't have to dig too deep into them, but were there any other moments that gave you the same kind of feeling, or did that take the cake?
No, I think that really took the cake. I mean, other than the mass transit thing, that really took the cake. Did not know that the kid Eric was going to get cut like that by New Jack. Had no idea. I was just told by New Jack to stay with Mustafa. Again, all of this happened. I'm very, very young. I'm 23, 24. I'm in there with grown-ass men, scared to death, not wanting to breathe heavy until I asked for permission. So when somebody like New Jack told me to stay with Mustafa and he's gonna have you on the outside and beat you down, don't get back up, I listened. But then it was kind of like, Mustafa hit me, went back in the ring and did what he did. And I remember creeping up because I didn't want to just lay on the floor, because I felt like, I figured they would knock me back down, and they did. But I remember getting up the second or third time and then seeing the blood just gush out of Eric's head, the kid, and the father screaming, "Stop the damn show. He's only 17. Stop the damn show." That was probably one of the moments where I didn't even do anything, and I felt like I was going to get in trouble. It was very, very powerful.
I guess there's such a thing as going too far, huh?
Well, Jack always liked to push the envelope off the table, not just push it a little bit, but off the table. That was just the person that New Jack was. You know, Jerome Young, totally different person. New Jack would kill you in a heartbeat.
That is just so crazy to me. And yet, Paul Heyman felt comfortable with having him be there.
Well, he felt like he can control Jack, which he did on certain occasions. There were times where Paul had to ream into Jack and get on him, and it was no fair. And Jack listened. You know, Jack listened because at that time, nobody was going to take the gangsters, you know, and Jack needed the money. He couldn't just go off at the mouth and then tell Heyman, F you, I'm out, you know. He needed to go out there and make a living to feed his family. So when Paul would get upset with him and it got to that point, he would tell Jack to go home or, you know, get out of the building. He would. He respected Paul, but Paul also knew how to deal with people like that.
Wow. That just blows my mind. I mean, we're talking about things that have happened, you know, 25, 26, 28, almost 30 years ago. And to look at it from a 2024 lens, it's just, it's fascinating that could have ever even happened, right?
Yep.
If that stuff happened today, that would take a whole company down.
Yeah, pretty much. It really would. And, you know, again, the things we got away with, Duke, oh my God, it could never happen again.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. The night that Kimona was dancing, you weren't with the company yet at that point, right?
Oh, I was there. I saw titties.
Oh, my God. ECW, ladies and gentlemen, literally the most outrageous, rebellious promotion probably ever. I can't remember a promotion that was more rebellious than ECW when we reflect back on it.
Here's the deal, and I'm saying this respectfully to these organizations. You have a lot of these organizations that's doing hardcore stuff. They're doing the freaking glass. They're doing the kendo sticks. They're doing the freaking fluorescent bulbs. Listen, we are the originators. When we did that, yes, we did it to the point where we didn't try to maim each other or do things like that or score each other's bodies for life. We basically told the story behind everything. So every chair, every thumbtack, every barbed wire bat, when we used it, there was a purpose and a meaning to it. There were storylines behind it. I watch some of this stuff now, and I'm just like, you guys don't get it. You guys did not get the concept of how we did things back then. It wasn't just punching somebody, then picking up a fluorescent bulb and cracking it over the head just to get the holy shit chant from the crowd. We got the holy shit chant crowds from doing it, taking our time, making sure that all the T's and whatever were crossed. We made sure of that. And then we started using stuff like that, but we never just did it just to do it, where it didn't make sense. And a lot of organizations now have seen it, and it's sad.
It is sad because it shows that they weren't paying attention. They only took pieces of the violence and things like that and never paid attention to the storyline, the build-up, protecting, taking care of your fellow wrestlers and what have you. And one of the things that I find to just be egregious is when you see these companies do these hardcore matches and you'll see a wrestler seriously get injured. You know, literally pieces of flesh getting taken out of them. They got to go online the next day and beg for GoFundMe money.
Yeah.
These guys don't have insurance. The company's not going to pay for their injuries or you know, their medical bills and what have you. They literally are begging the fans to help pay for this stuff because they can't do it. But it always makes me ask the question, well, why did you do it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you could relaunch ECW today, and I know that obviously it's years down the line, you're not going to have the same staff, so you got to rebuild with the whole new team and what have you. But let's play devil's advocate. Let's say Netflix is like, you know what? ECW is still a brand that has value. We want WWE to bring it back. figure it out. You get a call, Devon, we want you to help us rebuild ECW. Could you get it back to a point where, even though it's not the original, it's not a bad remake?
I just don't think you could. I don't think you could. I don't think you could do it. I really don't. You have to understand what we did back then also was shock value. You know, we shocked the people. It was things that had never been done before, you know, and when nobody's willing to take that chance, but we did, of course, with the help of Paul Heyman. So to actually try to recreate that again or even try to top it, I don't think you can. I just don't think you can. Even with today's stars, it's a different ball game. It's a different animal. And I would love to be proven wrong, but I don't think I am. I just don't think ECW could ever live up to what was done when it was in existence. I just don't think so.
So in that sense, we just got to stick to playing the old DVDs and playing the video game, so to speak, right?
That's it. Unless you can find something else that would top, that could be shock value. And nowadays, I don't think there's anything that is shock value anymore.
Not in this reality world. I don't know.
Nope.
Jesus, like you said, we had that debate. There's nothing more shocking than that debate that we watched the other day. So,
oh God, oh. And I feel so bad for Joe Biden. I really do, because, you know, oh God, the scrutiny that he had to go through. It's so bad. It's
a job where you have to be front facing. You got to be in front of the camera. People have to see you. People are scrutinizing everything you say and do. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we're looking at a Ronald Reagan 2.0, in my opinion.
And they brought that up, you know, about Reagan going up against Walter Mondale. And I remember that because I was a kid when it came up. I remember watching the debate. I remember watching Reagan go through that. But as a kid, I didn't know that they were judging him on being not fit to run the country. But, you know, he said some key things during that debate. And I don't want to quote it because I can't remember, but it was so damn good that it turned the whole election around for Reagan. And it even got Walter Mondale to pop, to laugh when Reagan said it. It was about the age thing. You know, but again, damn, Joe. That's all I can say is just damn.
Yeah. Damn. Damn. You know? Duke Loves Wrestling on Facebook, on Twitter, DukeLovesWrestling@gmail.com. I mean, you heard him, folks. Devon is not holding back. He is giving his unfiltered opinion on things he's experienced through the years, through his illustrious career. So let us know. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear more about? What do you want to hear Devon deep dive about? Because it's good stuff there. Devon, for everybody listening out there, what's the best way they can keep up with you beyond listening to this show?
Okay, well, they can keep up with me. I am on Instagram at Devon Dudley, Testify Devon on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter at Testify Devon, but my Facebook is private. So unless you are a friend of mine or you are a family member, I will not accept you, unfortunately, and I'm sorry, because there's too many private pictures that I have up there that is only made for my family, and nothing against the fans, but I just rather keep that private. So I said Twitter at Testify Devon, Instagram at Testify Devon. I will also be in at the Oviedo Mall in Florida for VillaCon on July 6th between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. So come on out to the Oviedo Mall and, you know, say hello if you're in the Florida area. That is on the East Coast side of Florida, just, I believe, south of not Fort Pierce, of Melbourne, Florida. And I'll be there signing autographs, taking pictures. So come on out and say hello.
See that, folks? You get a chance to see the Hall of Famer himself, Devon Dudley, live and in color, get a chance to get an autograph, say hello to the Hall of Famer, come on. If you're out there, definitely check out July 6th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. VillaCon, all right, at the Oviedo Mall. I love it. Devon, as always, man, we appreciate you. I am, if we're talking about things that we appreciate with July 4th, definitely appreciate the fact that we get a chance to touch base with you on a weekly basis and talk about all these great things, pro wrestling related. Certainly, I know it's going to help a lot of folks out who are getting the grill ready. So another home run, so to speak, Dan. I appreciate you for it.
Oh, no, thank you. It's always a pleasure being on there with the Duke, baby.
This is Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Wrestling.